Look, there's a truth that almost no one dares to tell you directly, but you need to understand it if you truly want to grasp how female attraction works. A woman doesn't end up obsessing over the man who's most persistent, but rather the one who awakens emotions within her that she can't control or explain. And here, sigh, comes the part that makes many men uncomfortable. You don't need a woman to be interested in you from the start for her to begin desiring you. What truly captures her attention isn't just your looks, your money, or the sweet things you might say. It's something much deeper and more subtle. It's the ability to create a feeling in her mind that makes her think about you, even when she's trying to avoid it. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you seen a woman ignore a man who seemed perfect and then fall intensely in love with someone who seemingly had nothing extraordinary about him? Sigh. That doesn't happen by chance or luck. It happens because there's a huge difference between impressing a woman and awakening her desire. Female desire has psychological roots. It can't be bought or forced, but it can be activated when a man understands how emotional attraction truly works. When a man stops desperately chasing and starts generating curiosity, everything changes. His energy shifts. His presence becomes different, calmer, more grounded, and more magnetic. And precisely at that moment, a woman begins to see him differently, even if she barely noticed before. But here's the truth that few accept. Most men destroy their own attraction without realizing it. They talk too much, they constantly try to prove their worth, they're always available. They believe that trying harder will make her choose them. When in reality, true magnetism comes from the opposite, from calmness, self-control, and a silence that doesn't seek approval. Because a woman can ignore your words, but she can't ignore the feeling she experiences in the presence of a man who isn't emotionally dependent on her. A man who doesn't chase her, but also doesn't reject her. A man who knows exactly who he is. So in this video, you'll discover how to awaken desire even in a woman who today seems to feel nothing for you. And no, this isn't about cheap manipulation or childish psychological games. It's about understanding how the female mind responds to mystery, emotional security, and authentic male presence. Sigh. When you understand that, she'll start thinking about you without even realizing it. Get ready, because what you're about to hear could forever change how you understand female desire. 1. Controlled indifference, the hidden trigger of female desire. Let me tell you something most men never truly grasp. A woman can ignore your physical attractiveness, leave your messages on read, and even mock your attempts to impress her. But there's one thing she can hardly ignore. The silence of a confident man. Because controlled indifference doesn't mean disinterest. It means emotional mastery. It's that tranquility that unsettles a woman and makes her wonder, why aren't you acting like all those other men desperately seeking her approval? When a man masters this energy, he doesn't need to seek attention. His presence speaks for itself, his lack of urgency intriguing. And the most ironic thing is that when you stop chasing after a woman, that's often precisely when she starts to notice your absence. Not because you've magically become more attractive, but because she perceives something that's all too rare these days. A man who doesn't need external validation to feel valued. And here lies the mistake that destroys attraction in most cases. Many men confuse interest with need. They think that being more persistent, showing more, and always being available will make her value them. But female desire works in exactly the opposite way. What truly generates attraction is emotional self-control and the ability not to react impulsively when she pulls away. Sigh. When you're able to remain calm, even when she's cold or distant, you convey something that words can't express. You communicate stability, security, and the feeling that your well-being doesn't depend on her attention. Sigh. And that energy is palpable. When a woman senses that, her mind starts working on its own. She begins with a sigh to wonder if you're still interested, if you've lost interest, or if someone else has captured your attention. That little bit of uncertainty sparks her curiosity and sigh. Curiosity is almost always the first step toward desire. Controlled indifference isn't about ignoring her out of pride or acting with artificial coldness. It's about showing,